Jarvis at your service, sir.
Hey Jarvis, can you see if I have any meetings scheduled for today?
Right away, sir. I'll check your calendar and see what the day has in store for you. Just a moment. You have one event scheduled for today. Shabir Nuruddin, J. Sabra. Would you like help preparing for this meeting, or need a reminder, sir?
Not at the moment. Can you please send an email to Noor confirming if he's available for dinner tomorrow night?
Certainly, sir. I'll draft an email to Noor confirming his availability for dinner tomorrow night. Just give me a moment to compose it. I've sent an email to Noor asking if he is available for dinner tomorrow night, in a friendly and informal tone.
How's the weather tomorrow? Will we be able to eat outside?
One moment, sir. I shall consult the meteorological oracles to determine if the weather will be suitable for al fresco dining tomorrow. There's a slight chance of rain in the afternoon. Outdoor dining might be a bit risky, sir.
All right. That kind of puts a damper on my mood. Can you tell me a funny story?
Certainly, sir. A humorous anecdote might lift your spirits. A rather amusing incident occurred involving Tony Stark, a parrot, and a sensitive microphone. It appears Mr. Stark was attempting to record a serious message for a press conference, only to have his parrot, who had developed a rather colorful vocabulary, decide to join in. The resulting recording was, shall we say, unfit for public consumption.
I just built this J.A.R.V.I.S personal assistant using n8n, Lovable, and ElevenLabs. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. I'll show you how to build the front end using Lovable, how to build the back end using n8n, and how to build the AI voice agent using ElevenLabs. But before we get into any of that, why are these UI demos so powerful? UI demos are the difference between a customer saying, that's cool, and a customer staring at their screen with their mouths wide open. As automation builders, an issue that we run into is we love to get into the technical nitty-gritty of things. But you have to remember that for your client, all they care about is what they can see. So while this J.A.R.V.I.S build is pretty flashy and cool, the underlying lesson to learn here, your clients buy with their eyes first. All right, so everything starts with Lovable. Lovable is an AI-powered website and application builder, which uses natural language prompts and turns that into working, powerful web applications. So in this text area over here, I'm going to enter some text. To build this interface, this is the prompt that I used. I hit enter, and after a little bit of back and forth, Lovable came back to me with this beautiful looking J.A.R.V.I.S style interface. This interface is connected to an ElevenLabs AI voice agent. But what sets this J.A.R.V.I.S apart from any other J.A.R.V.I.S that you'll find on the internet is that it looks and feels a lot more like a true J.A.R.V.I.S. And that's because the conversation button is hidden over here. Most of the builds you'll find will have the J.A.R.V.I.S interface, but in order to start the call, you'll have to click on some widget that looks like this. So this interface takes it one step further and incorporates the Start Workflow button in the UI itself, so it looks a lot cleaner. Once the UI is all set up, I provided Lovable with my ElevenLabs agent ID and my ElevenLabs API key, and the Lovable setup was done. Next, let's go into ElevenLabs. In ElevenLabs, in the sidebar, you'll see that they have Creative Platform and Agents Platform. So make sure you had Agents Platform selected. And these are some of the agents that I've built out so far. The agent I'm using in this demo is called J.A.R.V.I.S. You have to select the language, you provide it the first message, and then there's the system prompt. Now here's where J.A.R.V.I.S gets really powerful. The system prompt contains basic instructions for how J.A.R.V.I.S should speak and behave. We give it instructions for personality, for environment, for tone, and for the end goal. What exactly is it that J.A.R.V.I.S is supposed to do? So this personal assistant can do news, weather, travel, email, writing blog posts, tracking expenses, managing the calendar, and doing deep research. And there's also some guardrails regarding what the agent should not do. Tools are what enable the ElevenLabs agent to connect to the n8n backend for all the processing. I've added one tool called Call Agent. Whenever a user asks for any of these 8 tasks, ElevenLabs will take that input and send that input using the Call Agent tool to n8n. And then n8n will process that and send the response back to ElevenLabs. Now you might imagine that this would take some time. So the way we get around that is we're instructing the agent to call the tool immediately. And as you're waiting for the response, engage in friendly banter to pass the time until you get the response. This is a good time to respond in a humorous way to the user request or tell a short story, but cut off as you receive the response. So this small set of instructions makes the agent much more conversational and much less robotic. Finally, we have to tell the agent that it's possible that some requests may be incomplete, in which case the n8n workflow isn't going to return the complete product, it's going to ask for more information. If that's the case, ElevenLabs needs to get that information from us as well. So let's see that in action.
JARVIS at your service, sir.
I want to send an email.
Right you are, sir. I shall compose an electronic message on your behalf. Just say the word, and I'll have it zipping through the internet tubes in no time. Right then. It seems I require a bit more information to dispatch this email. Could you furnish me with the recipient's name or email address, the subject line, and the message you wish to convey? Also, do you have any preference as to whether the email should be formal or informal?
Just an informal email to Noor asking about dinner tomorrow night.
I'm on it, sir. Sending a casual email to Noor about dinner tomorrow.
So that kicks off the workflow. It'll get the contact information, it'll send the email, and then it'll come back to me with a confirmation that the email has been sent.
Precisely, sir. It's all rather like clockwork, isn't it?
All right, so it seems like Jarvis was listening in on the explanation that I was giving, which is pretty cool. So back in ElevenLabs, let's see how to set up the tool. So if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's an option for custom tools. Provide the agent with custom tools it can use to help users. So click Add Tool, and that'll bring up this menu. So the name of the tool is Call Agent. Give it a description, and this is just a natural language description of what the tool is supposed to do. Here, we're going to drop in the n8n webhook URL, and I'll show you how to do that once we get into the n8n build. Now, since this is a rather complex personal assistant agent, I'm going to keep the response timeout to the max because some of the actions may take some more time to complete. Scrolling down, we have to send some body parameters. The description, again, is just a natural language description of what is to be sent. Then we have a data type, a string. The name of that variable is user_request. It's an LLM prompt. And the description is the user's request to be processed. And that's all you have to do. Just click exit. Make sure you've saved the AI agent. And now once you pass a request to this voice agent, it's going to fire up the n8n workflow. So let's dive in and see how that works. So here's the n8n workflow. I've adapted this workflow from my original Ultimate Personal Assistant build. And if you're interested in checking that out, I'll leave a link to that in the description. The entire assistant is handled by one orchestrator agent. The inputs come from a webhook, which we just configured in ElevenLabs, and the output is a response to that webhook. So if we double-click the webhook node, we'll see that there is a webhook I'm using in the test URL for now, but if you were making this live, you would use the production URL and change that in ElevenLabs as well. It's going to be a post request since we're sending data to n8n. We're not pulling data from n8n. And the response is going to be using the respond to webhook node. And this is what one sample input looks like, where we have the user_request that we set up in ElevenLabs. This AI agent needs a brain. I'm using GPT 4.1, and I'm also using Postgres chat memory. I made a video about how to set that up, and I'll link to that as well. The advantage of using Postgres is that it's persistent memory, and it actually keeps a record of all of the conversations that you've ever had. If we dive into the prompt for the orchestrator agent, you'll see that there's the current time and date. Because the AI model is time agnostic, you have to tell it what time it is right now. Otherwise, it's not going to be able to understand that. And we're telling the agent that it has access to these tools. Below that, we'll provide information for how to access each tool and what to do with the response from that tool. So we have instructions for weather, travel, email, expenses, research, calendar, and content writing. Now, to the orchestrator agent, I've provided multiple different tools. Now, this tool is pretty neat because this tool has more tools at its disposal. So instead of relying on one AI call to write the entire blog post, we can split up the tasks into determining the titles and structure, which we're getting from SERP API and Perplexity. Another tool for doing the research using Tavily and Perplexity. Another tool for generating the image, which I'm doing using Replicate. And finally, a dedicated tool just for writing a section. And that's using a cheaper AI model because we're only providing it information and expecting a direct output. There's not much reasoning involved. And finally, we have a Google Docs create a document and update a document tool to save the final blog post. Next up, we have the Research Assistant, which is connected to the blog post writer, but it's also connected directly to the orchestrator agent. So if we ask Jarvis some complex questions, Jarvis can actually search the web using Tavily or using Perplexity and get back well-cited, well-researched answers for our queries. There's also an option for more in-depth research, where we're using a more advanced Perplexity model to dig deeper into particular topics. Next, we have the email agent, and this has access to a variety of Gmail tools. You can also use an MCP server, but I had done this build quite a while ago, so I've just copied and pasted that original build into this one, and this had all the tools separate. So we have a tool for adding labels, for getting a particular message, for searching messages, etc., etc. Next up, we have a contacts agent, which is hooked up to Google Contacts. And this is how I can just give Jarvis a name. It'll automatically find that person's email address or contact information and process it. We also had a weather and news agent. For weather, it uses weatherapi.com. And for news, it uses SERP API. We have the finance tracker agent, which is connected to an Airtable database that tracks all of my expenses. I can also talk to my expenses, and I'll show you a demo of that as well. We have the travel agent, which allows us to check flights and hotels from Google Flights and Google Hotels. This is again done using SERP API. And finally, we have the calendar agent, where we can create new calendar events, delete events, search for events, get a particular event, and change or update an event. So the benefit of using so many sub workflows or sub agents instead of connecting all of these tools to a single agent is that providing too many different kinds of tools to a single agent might overload it. And your input token count also skyrockets because you're providing that much more information with every API call. So abstracting each process helps make sure that each process is done with more narrow focus, and it also helps keeps costs down as well. If you're enjoying this video so far, do check out my school community, the AI Automation Incubator. We hold weekly group calls, and every month the entire community comes together, votes on a build idea, and we build it together live. There's a 7-day free trial, so if you're interested, go ahead and sign up. The link is in the description. We only recently launched, so we have special founder member pricing. You can lock in founding member pricing by signing up now. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, but isn't this just a glorified version of Siri? But in fact, this Jarvis agent is actually much more powerful, and it can handle incredibly complex queries. So as we wrap up this video, let's give Jarvis a very complex set of instructions in which it'll have to call multiple tools and execute multiple different things.
Jarvis at your service, sir.
Hey Jarvis, I was at the zoo today and the ticket was $50, so please go ahead and log that expense for me. I saw some penguins there, and that really got me wondering how they managed to transport penguins from the South Pole to wherever the zoo is, and how they create habitats for the penguins. So do some research for me about that, and send an email to Noor with your findings.
Right you are, sir. I shall lock that expense and conduct the research forthwith. I will also send an email to Noor with my findings. The deed is done, sir. Your $50 expense at the zoo has been recorded. I have also sent an email to Noor with the research findings. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
So there's the expense with the date and the time. And there's the email with all of the research. If you're interested in grabbing a copy of this Jarvis agent, There's a link to the GitHub repo for the UI and the n8n JSON in the video description. And you can also find it in the school community as well, where you can get hands-on support for this and any other automation that you might be building. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could give it a like, and do remember to subscribe for more AI and automation content.